In this final video, we're going to look at how you can create a combination of multiple grading strings which are referencing these COGO points into a single model. We'll also look at how we can then have the model updated referencing back to the road. So if the road changes, all of our grading strings will update based on updated COGO points, and then subsequently the model will then also update. Now, the best way to combine these is really using Model Builder. So when we've created these, we've told the grading string not to create a surface, which again is entirely optional, but it just means that we have less surfaces to have to deal with in Surface Manager. So if I was going to be creating multiple lots within this, I'd maybe create them on a parcel by parcel basis. In this case, I'm simply going to be taking 4 lots and joining them together, and obviously I can add extra lots as I go further forward in my design. So I'm going to click on the Model Builder pull down, click on Model Builder. I'm going to go and create a new model, and all I'm going to do is reference the lots and put lots 10 to 13 and click OK. Then using the toolbar, I'm going to include the strings that I want as part of this model, and it's simply clicking on the Include Exclude pull down and then choosing the lots from the list. All I now need to do is click on Build, and then once I've done that, click on Save down the bottom. This will have now generated for us, once we close this down on the top right hand corner, a surface in Surface Manager, and you can see that Toggle Display pops up, and if I just turn on the mesh, you can see we've now got a combination of those grading strings. So if any of those grading strings are updated through the process of updating maybe the COGO points, or we add in some extra IPs, at any point we want this model to update, we can simply come in and run the Rebuild All Models or Rebuild Models button found on the modeling panel, and this will go ahead and update this for us. What we're going to do next, however, is to actually add, just using the grip here to turn off the triangles, what's known as a thread. So a thread allows us to create a sequence of commands that we would normally run manually through the ribbon and have them calculated as one command for us. So to do this, on the Roads tab, we're going to go to the Workflow panel and click on the Thread Editor pull down, and you can see we've got Thread Editor. In here, we're going to create a brand new thread. So if you've never used this before, this is a very straightforward process. We click on the top right hand corner to create a thread, and we're simply going to call this Update Lots, and maybe we'll put the reference here 10 to 13. So if you're doing this in parcels or groups, then you might want to do just batches. We're going to click OK. Now if we make a design change to the road, the first thing that we want to happen is for these points to be updated. So the points would have to be updated to then be used by the vertical design of our grading strings. So we have a action here down the bottom to go and update COGO points. So we're going to click on Add Action to add that in, and click on Add Action. It's the first one in. Now there is a bit of a trick here, because the COGO points at the back are referencing COGO points at the front. So when these ones at the front update, ideally we want the back then to be updated as well. So just as an extra step, we'll just go and tell it to update COGO points again, just to make sure that they all get added in. Once we've done that, simply all we want is for our grading strings to be updated, and this is just a couple of processes. So first of all, what we want to happen is for the auto profile entry found in our grading string vertical design to be updated. So we choose Compute Vertical Geometry, click on Add Action, and to make things nice and simple, all I'm going to do is check on Grading and then click on Add Action. The reason why I've checked on all grading is simply because if I add other grading strings, I would actually like these other grading strings to also be updated. I could have just cherry picked 10 to 13 from the list, but this just saves me having to go back in and add them later on. I'm going to make sure that this happens as the third step. What you can see there, it's jumped in at number 2, so I'm going to move that down. So once the grading string vertical design has been updated, the auto profile entry has been updated, all we want then is the grading string to basically be updated, so refreshed. And we're going to click on Resample Grading String, Add Action. We're going to check all and make sure that it goes to the bottom of the list. This is what I didn't do in the previous selection, but as you can see, we can easily move it down. Click on Add Action. Now that we've done that, the grading strings will have updated. The model that we've created, which is our built model here, then needs an update. And we simply do that by clicking on Compute Design Model, click on Add Action, and check our built model that we just created. I'm going to make sure that that goes to the bottom of the list, add action. So sequentially, the points will get updated when we run this command. The vertical design, the auto profile will be updated. The grading string will be refreshed and updated as part of that process, very important. And then finally, the model, which is using them, will also be updated. Lastly, because we're going to be using Model Viewer in a second, I'm just going to get the software. If Model Viewer happens to be open, it would be nice if that got updated. So we're just going to add this one as an extra. Pop that to the bottom of the list, add action. Now we've done that, we can actually run this right now. So if I click compute thread, the thread will run, but obviously there isn't a great deal to actually visualize on screen. So what we'll do is close this down, and we'll open up Model Viewer. And then what we're going to do is to simply display this model that I've got, which is our lots. So I'm going to go to toggle display, show the visibility of our built model here, click OK. And if we zoom in, there are the 4 lots combined into a single surface or model. So first of all, let's make a change to the row design. So let's go and move row 1 up by a value or down by a value of 1. So we'll type in -1, click OK. Obviously the knock-on of that is that the row design will have changed fairly significantly, and in fact if we just come in here and hit refresh, the consequence of that is, as you can see, our model is no longer correct, so it's not tying up at the frontage. This is where our thread comes in. So we go up to the workflow pull down and choose run threads. We click on update lots, click on compute thread. The model will update, and then because we've got Model Viewer open and we've told it to update, Model Viewer has now also updated. So you can use threads for single or multiple lots, or any string for that matter. It doesn't have to be what we've created here, but you can see here how that process of making one change to the road, that thread has now gone through and updated all of the design related to it.